welcome to this week's edition of The Magnate. Today we shall be talking about the economy. I'm sure you agree with me that virtually everybody needs to know about the economy now, both the global and the Nigerian economy. And we have who should know, a magnate for the week. Who is he? Well, he's a known economist, an international one to be precise, and has lent a voice to a lot of programs, particularly in the media, electronic or print. We call him Popular Jingle, Mr. Economist. Who are we talking about? He's at top an enterprise that has a hub of Nigerian businessmen and women. Let's give you this background report of our magnate for the week. When we come back, it will be an interactive session where he will be doing what he knows how to do best. We'll be back shortly.
Dr. Muda Yusuf is the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI. He is an economist and has contributed immensely to the national economic discourse through his research-based analysis of policies of government as they affect various sectors of the economy. Dr. Yusuf obtained bachelor's and master's degrees in economics from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, and the University of Lagos, Nigeria, respectively. He also holds a doctorate degree in business administration from the Swiss Business School, Switzerland. He has participated in various high-level public policy advocacy dialogues at both the federal and state levels with the aim of fostering private sector participation in the Nigerian economic development. He is a leading advocate of an enabling environment for the Nigerian private sector and has a vast knowledge and exposure on business research and policy issues affecting business. Muda Yusuf has attended various prestigious courses, conferences, and seminars, both locally and internationally. He was a delegate to the Commonwealth Business Forum in 2011, and he also attended the Advanced Management Program of the Lagos Business School. He also participated in the Conference on Management on Business Association in the United States, and a member of delegation to the World Trade Organization Ministerial Conference in Cancun, Mexico. Dr. Yusuf has also participated at conferences of the World Chambers Federation in various countries. Let us join our anchor with our magnate for the week.
You're welcome to the Magnates. I'm sure by now you know our magnate for the week with the background report we have brought to you. Yes, he's Mr. Economist himself. My pleasure to welcome to the Magnate, Dr. Muda Yusuf, the Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's a delight to have you with us, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be
Thank you. Yes, at least come and lend the voice, all those advocacy that you do on other media houses. So now let's look at it from the beginning. What's your take on the fact that the small businesses drive the economy? That's usually when people have sessions, seminars, and they say the small businesses drive the economy, small and medium scale enterprises. Is that true?
Well, I believe it is true.
Okay.
Because the small and medium enterprises are like the life wire of any economy. First, from the point of view of employment generation.
Okay.
In Nigeria, the latest data that we have from the National Bureau of Statistics put the number of SMEs at 41 million.
Wow, 41 million?
41 million. That's quite a number.
Both the thriving and the any SME. At least the ones they have their data.
Exactly. And of this 41 million, 99% are micro enterprises.
Okay, micro.
You know, so the rest are small enterprises and the medium enterprises.
The startups.
Yes. And the micro enterprises were defined as those with a capital of 5 million and below. You know, and those with 50 million and below are described as small enterprises.
So
then 500 million and below are the medium enterprises.
Okay, medium.
But the important thing is that when it comes to the key issues that stabilizes the economy, especially from the point of view of employment generation, from the point of view of building an inclusive economy.
Okay.
Because inclusiveness of an economy is a function of how many people are participants in the economy. So the SMEs provide a vehicle for inclusion.
Okay. Okay.
They also play a very big role in innovation and creativity. Even some of the product development that you see even with some large enterprises, the ideas come from the micro and small enterprises.
Okay, you tap on their brain.
Yes, yes. And what often happens is because the micro and all the small enterprises don't have the knowledge about patenting and all of that, they bring this idea to the market. Before you know it, some large enterprise just copy it and begin to invest in it on a very large scale.
Okay,
so when it comes to innovation and creativity, they play a major role.
Okay, now
They also play a big role in linkages to link the large enterprises even to the consumers. You know, because most of these middlemen that we see are actually, you know, in the small and medium enterprise category. So it is through these SMEs that the large enterprises can also reach the consumers. So the SMEs are very critical.
Drivers.
Yeah, they are very critical in any economy.
Okay, now you should be able to know, do we have a proper enabling environment for them to thrive?
We don't have.
Okay.
We don't have, and that is why the mortality rate of many of these businesses is very high. And when I say mortality rate, I mean rate
Failure
at
rate.
which they fail and pack up. You know, sometimes this failure rate could be between 30 to 50 to 60%. You know, so it's a major problem. There are issues that are internal to the businesses themselves. That is the understanding of the entrepreneurs as to how well to manage a business.
Okay.
Because not all businesses are actually managed by entrepreneurs. Not everybody that sets up a business and is running a business is an entrepreneur.
Exactly. That, you took it from me, really. I think that has to also do with capacity building. From your own experience, do you think people just wake up one day, I want to run a business, without, you know, some form of qualification because they just want to make money?
Yes, we have quite a large component of players in the business space that just jump into business. First, many of them don't have technical understanding of the business because quite a number of businesses also require deep knowledge of the business.
Sure.
Secondly, some of them don't have passion for the business. Perhaps they just see maybe one or two people doing the business and they have a feeling that the person is making a lot of money. They just get some money and just go into it. You know? So it is not in all cases that the passion is there. And the ability to relate with customers, the ability to have a clear understanding of the value that you need to deliver to a customer, to retain your customers and all, and to even identify the needs of the customers.
Okay.
If you are not somebody who has an entrepreneurial instinct, you may not be able to capture that. That is why in some cases, and of course even in many cases, you see the same set of people in the same environment,
doing the same thing.
One is doing well, one is not doing well.
Interesting.
It's the same market. It is this ability to understand the business. It's this entrepreneurial quality. Those are the things that makes a lot of difference. Because what we have seen is a lot of people just go into business because they have seen maybe their neighbor, their friends, and they believe it's making a lot of money. They just put in their money. And that is also part of the reason why you have high mortality rates in businesses. Yeah.
But that means definitely, sir, there must be some form of business instincts in one. How do you identify the area you think you can have core competence, not necessarily even in training? You must have some innate potential to be able to identify the particular business you can thrive in. As LCCI, I know you have a hub of a lot of business owners. How have you been able to identify some of these weak points and recommend solutions to them?
You see, one of the very important elements in identifying the kind of business that you can do is passion.
Interesting.
And that is something that at least a lot of those who have done research on SMEs have pointed out. Because with passion, it is very easy for you to function in a business space almost seamlessly.
Because of the interest, the love.
The love is there. Even when you are not making as much money as you expect to make, that passion will
It's driving
is driving you to continue. And at some point, you get it. And it also enhances efficiency because you are interested in it, you have passion for it. That is one. You talk about building capacity. It is also good to build capacity. You know, some people are, you can say they are born entrepreneurs. There are some people like that. Even in the school, you discover that even within the school system,
they are making money already.
you will see one or two students, not necessarily because they have done business administration or something. Even within their own content, they are making money from them. They're already doing one or two things. So there are some people who are naturally disposed to this entrepreneur. And there are people that also need to be trained. There are people that need to be mentored. Because mentoring is also key.
Part of it.
And there is no better way to learn about a business than to be taken through the business by somebody who is already...
Some form of apprenticeship.
Yes, who is already in the business. If you have a PhD in business administration,
that practical
component,
hands-on.
You can't learn it in school. So all these elements are very important in developing quality entrepreneurs.
All right, thank you very much. So well said. Okay, closely related to that is we hear of PPP. I mean, the erroneous believe that you are government, but with PPP, public-private partnership, how does that help? Because I also know that there are some governments or state governments that take the interest of SME. They set up different organizations here and there. Lagos, for instance, they have a lot of such. How do you think PPP has added value to small and medium scale businesses and even the larger ones?
Well, PPP is key. They bring value not just to business, they also bring a lot of value to government and to the economy generally. First, what is clear now, and it's even more so now, is that the government doesn't have all the resources to fix this economy. You can see the amount of money that government is borrowing. You can see that the bulk of our resources are going into recurrent spending. The cost of governance is high. So in terms of the resources to fix some critical infrastructure, for instance, the government doesn't have it. Percentage of capital budget to total budget, at best, especially at the time, it's just about 20%. It could even be less. So the government needs the resources of the private sector to fix this economy. So that is where the value of public-private partnership is. So it is for government, whether it is state government, whether it is federal, to identify, even local government, to identify projects that are bankable. If you identify a project that is bankable, you can get the private sector to pick it up. And that will reduce the burden on government. Yes. And that also provides opportunity for the private sector. You know. And what you have also seen is that the more the government run enterprises, especially enterprises that businesses or that are commercial or that private sector can run, the more problems they create for the economy. Take the example of the telecoms. We used to have Nitel, and you know the kind of hazards we went through with Nitel in terms of access to telephone, the cost of telephone, the corruption, and all of that. Compare that to when we allow the private sector to come into that space. Look at the amount of investment that has come in. We are talking about over $20 billion of investment. Look at the number of jobs that have been created. Not just anyhow jobs, quality jobs.
Multinationals.
Yes, that have been created in that space. Then look at the value of service that they have brought to the economy. So this is part of the value of having more private sector players in an economy. And you can do that if you strengthen the framework of public-private partnership. But we must also ensure that we inspire confidence in investors. Because if there is no confidence, the investors will not bring their money.
Confidence will come out of infrastructural development. Just hold your thoughts there, Sir DG. We're still chatting with Dr. Muda Yusuf, the Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's go for this short break. Let's find out how An SME player is thriving. We're back to continue with this conversation.
The meaning of that G is GView, Nigerian company. We are into interior design. We do painting work, anything that has to do with painting, both foreign and local painting. Aside of that, we manufacture paint. We manufacture satin paint, emulsion, test coat, gloss, and the light, even marine paint, all those road marking and epoxy. So that's what we manufacture. We've been into this business for more than 2 decades. I can remember that the first contract that was awarded to me is sometimes 1996. Actually, we started with painting only around 1996. So after that, we now moved to tiling work. So we merged the painting to tiling. After that, we moved to POP work. After that, we now moved to screeding and the light, wallpaper, and so on and so forth. The essence of merging those businesses together is that most of the time when we get to site, we do have issues with our clients. They will be complaining. They will be stressed up with the attitude of we artisans. They will be complaining, oh, look at this plumber. He has done this to me. He didn't come to site. He have collected money for the business and we didn't see him. Look at the electrician. Look at the furniture man. Look at the tiling man. Okay, we now come up with, okay, what do we do to rescue the community, to rescue the society? Okay, let's come up with the group of artisans. That's what makes us to come up with GView, group of artisans. The essence of GView is to lift the stress on them, because at times, building work, you want to deal with various artisans. So, and there are some issues, like now you want to build a 5-bedroom duplex. If you did not take care, you did not see the right person to handle the project for you, you may be building the house and you will be stressed up by having issues, serious issues, disappointment, exploitation from the artisans. But by the time you come to GView, all those will be taken care of. We manufacture paint. So that paint is a very big industry on its own. Like now, I said we manufacture emulsion paint. We manufacture test coat paint. We manufacture satin paint. We manufacture marble paint. We manufacture road marking. We manufacture epoxy paint. We manufacture marine paint and the lights. All this paint, we use it for house construction. We want GView to be foremost organization that will cater for the problem of the building industry, of the interior industry in the society. In GView, we invite some experts for assistance. Like, we have some architects that work with us. We have some structural engineers that work with us. So those people do guide us. Okay, the reason you have to patronize GView Nigerian company is that we don't disappoint. We are dedicated. Our staff are dedicated. They were trained. And we don't cheat. Though you will pay, but you will see value for your money.
You are still on to the Magnate. You're welcome back. I hope you got inspired by that SME that we featured. Everybody is thinking of how to make one or two impacts in the society now by doing something and earning an income. I still have with us here on the Magnate Dr. Muda Yusuf, the Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He's Mr. Economist himself. You're welcome to the program again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we are talking about PPP before we went on the break, the area of economy, thriving. Let's look at some other things. Then you also earlier on alluded to the fact that there's a lot of mortality in businesses thriving in the society, particularly in Nigeria. There are a lot of seeming factors that may debar businesses from thriving. Let's look at the infrastructure. I asked you earlier, is there an enabling environment for businesses to thrive in Nigeria? We look at infrastructure, funding, PAR, double taxation, tariffs, to mention but a few. What's your take on this?
Well, the environment is very challenging for all businesses. I've even had large enterprises also complain that this environment is tough. And if a big company is complaining, you can imagine what will have happened to the small ones, you know. First, that is part of the reason we have the high mortality rate of business. First, we have the infrastructural challenge, which we alluded to earlier. The cost of providing infrastructure, especially for businesses. Power, for instance. If a business is a business that is energy intensive, in other words, a business that consumes a lot of power, it can be very, very challenging for such a business. That is why if you look at the SME space, the service sector, particularly buying and selling and all of that, the power requirement is not as huge as somebody who has set up a cottage industry. You know? So power is a big issue. We have been on this for a very long time. The government has brought about, put in place the power sector reform, almost 5 years now. There has not been any significant improvement on that reform. There is still a lot of conversation going on now as to what exactly to do with the power sector. And if you don't get the power sector right, it is difficult to get this economy right. We have been talking about diversification of the economy. It is difficult to diversify an economy. First, if you don't have a base for efficient and competitive production. And for you to have that, that is about talking about industrialization. It is difficult to industrialize if you don't have power. It's difficult to grow this economy if industrialists and those who are in production are still depending on diesel generators. They have to also buy their own gas and all of that. So power is at the heart of supporting small businesses. So particularly if you want to encourage agro-processing and small-scale industrialization. Those power is key. That is why sometimes when you see the government and the central bank throwing money, intervention fund, this fund, and yet the contribution of manufacturing sector to GDP is still less than 10%, even as we speak.
Wow.
Yeah, it's as bad as that.
That's low.
So that shows you the challenges that investors face in the manufacturing space. And also, even in agriculture, you need linkages between agriculture and agro-processing for you to also promote agriculture. Because it's not enough for those who are in the farming business to just produce primary production. Processing is key. So value addition is key. So all these chains are very important in order to strengthen the economy. Then the second major challenge as far as enabling environment is concerned is logistics. The ability to move goods from one point to the other. The roads are bad.
Huge transportation.
The railway system is neither here nor there, although there have been some efforts by government in those areas. But the cost of transportation is a big problem. Then there's also the challenges at the ports. To get cargo out of the ports.
For export and import?
Export and imports can be a nightmare. As we speak, we still do what you call manual examination of cargo in our ports.
For how many people would that be in a day?
Exactly. How many containers can you examine manually? Scanners have broken down for close to 2 to 3 years now.
No repairs.
And you need technology to facilitate a process. In this day and age, if you are still examining cargo manually, first it affects efficiency, it slows down the process, it encourages corruption, and it makes the whole process very cumbersome.
Cumbersome indeed. So,
issue of the ports is key. You know, so all of these things contribute. Then, of course, we have regulatory issues.
And tax.
A lot of SMEs complain. Although we must admit that this administration has been doing a lot to ensure that there's a moderation in fees for SMEs. I mean, we have seen some indication from NAFDAC as to the a kind of moderation in fees. We have seen some indication from SON, you know. So there has been some efforts to moderate, but the regulatory environment can also be challenging. Because for many of these businesses, you have regulators, institutions coming, not just from the federal government, even from the states.
Even individuals.
Yes, from local governments.
street people.
Yes, you see all sorts of uniforms on the road. They say they are from the council and all of that.
Double taxation.
Yes, multiple taxation, multiple registration, multiple licensing. You see a normal delivery van, just count the number of stickers that you see on those vans.
Just to be able to pass.
Just to be able to move around. Then you have the road safety. I mean, just watch the experience they go through. All of these things make life very difficult for small business.
Okay, the program is The Magnates. We are endowed with the economists today. That means that we are going to tap from his wealth of knowledge. We're going to have a halt here. When we come back next week, God willing, we shall continue this conversation with Dr. Muda Yusuf. We're back next week. Join us there.